Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well. As you can see, I've gone ahead and set up my hammock tarp as well as a secondary tarp. This is a ground sheet that we got for one of our tents, but it also has tabs and you can use it as a tarp. It's lightweight, just like the one that I have here. I put it up once just to test it out to see how it's going to work, but I have not had it out in the elements. Right now, there is a bit of a lull in the weather. The rain is supposed to come down quite hard, quite heavy with some winds in a couple hours. I want to see if these are truly waterproof and how well this setup is going to work in some heavy rain and some heavy winds. This is going to give me extra coverage. The nice thing with having a second tarp or a ground sheet like this is it's movable. If the winds change, I can angle this differently according to what the weather is doing. So I'm gonna leave this set up. I'll be coming back out to it when the rain starts to really come down, and then we're gonna see what happens with this tarp setup. The chair didn't get blown over by the wind. It's completely dry, which is great, meaning that there's no leaks in this hammock tarp, plus the ground sheet slash tarp that I put on the backside. I am using my waterproof dry bag little backpack just because everything is so wet right now. Well, so far I'm liking the way this setup has worked out, because I have protection on the other side, and that's why I faced the forest. That'll give me protection from the wind and rain from that side. I would have my tent set up, probably have the tent doorway or the vestibule right at the edge of this canopy set up, and I'm pretty well protected. It is pretty chilly and damp, so we're gonna make some morning coffee. I did a video on this hammock tarp just because I wanted to set it up. I haven't used it in any kind of weather yet. That's why I set it up, to see how it would hold up in rain and wind. This hammock tarp is made by Wise Owl Outfitters, and this particular one is called the Wise Fly. So the ground sheet, which I'm using as a tarp, and it's actually working really well, that one is made by REDCAMP Outdoor Equipment. I got both of these on Amazon, and this one, the footprint, this one was only, I think, $18, and I'm quite pleased with it. The quality is good, the stitching is good, and I like the fact that it has both grommets at the ends plus the fabric loop that make it easy to string up however you want to use it. I actually just ordered a second one of this same one because it's meant for a ground sheet for our tent. That's the original reason why I got it, but I wanted to try it as a tarp. So I got a second one so that I've got both the ground sheet and the tarp, or I can use both of them and I could almost surround my sitting area, and that's really going to help to block the elements. This is completely dry. There's no leaks inside of this setup. I've got tons of space. If I wanted to, I could make it a lot taller for me to be able to stand in, but for a seating, cooking area, have the tent to my side, this is going to work out well. The coffee that I'm having is Kicking Horse coffee, and this particular flavor is called Smartass Dark Roast. Actually, no, this one's a medium roast. And I have about 4 or 5 different flavors of this brand, Kicking Horse coffee. Absolutely love it. And no, I'm not sponsored. All right, let's show you the complete setup. Okay, I apologize for the background noise. You can probably hear some traffic. There's a couple of major routes that are not too far, so I apologize if you can hear the traffic in the background. This is the same way that I set up my tarp canopies all the time, but if you haven't seen any of those videos, check them out. I'll put a link at the end of the video, and it's pretty simple. I've got my ridge line tied on, going underneath from tree to tree. I like to use a prusik system right here because then I can just pull the cord and I can create the tension on it. This particular tarp does come with the string, and it does have an adjustable tab right here, which I'm using on the sides, but for this one I've got it clipped onto the ridge line, which runs all the way down underneath. And the nice thing with that is if I needed to, I could clip some gear onto here. I'm using that same ridge line for this secondary tarp. Same thing, there's a secondary prusik with a clip. And the nice thing with these ones is that it does have a grommet as well as the tab. I did put a stick in here to bring this corner up, that way it's on an angle. I'm getting splashed by this water kicking off of here. Here is the adjustable tab that's being used, so I can set the tension on here. You could also use your trekking poles for the same thing. And all I've done is tied this one off to another tree, and you can see the angle, how it slopes down. That way I can have runoff. You don't want to set it up symmetrical because that's when you're going to get pooling in the middle, and all that weight could cause damage as well. It's nasty out here. Listen to that wind howling. Now would be a good time for you guys to give this one a thumbs up, because I'm out here in the cold wind, rain for you. Now, what I did with this one, you can see these are 10-inch spikes, and I got a package of these steel 10-inch spikes because there's another one. If you happen to be in really soft ground or in sand, the regular pegs that come with it, they're not strong enough and they're not long enough to really lock it down, especially if you have some really high winds. Looking forward to that second tarp coming in, because I could overlap it all the way, or I could put a secondary tarp across here, and then I could make myself a corner and have even better coverage. This is typically what comes with one of these tarps that you get. The hammock one came with these ones. They are a little bit better. They're stronger, but they're not very long compared to something like this. This is an actual spike. Now, they're a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger. Would I take this backpacking? Maybe I would bring at least 2 of them so I can at least get a section of it really pegged down well. But in comparison, you can see, super handy, especially in soft soil. It's not nice out. I mean, it's okay under here, but make sure your gear is dry before you pack it away so that you don't damage it and cause any mold or anything. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of testing some new tarps that I have. This setup is going to work 100%. No leaks, held up to the wind, held up to the rain. Quite pleased with this overall setup. So hopefully this helps you out if you're looking to get some gear for your next camping trip. And as always, I'll see you in the next adventure.